Keep going.
Yeehaw, Shino!
Do you know that some of the most valuable metals on Earth are being found by hand right now by ordinary people who simply know how to read the ground? Most people have no idea this is even possible, and many have never once heard how these precious metals are quietly pulled from creeks and plain rocks. They walk over the same ground every day, never guessing that real treasure sits in the dirt beneath their boots, waiting for someone who understands it. That is exactly what you are going to learn today. So subscribe to the channel and leave your like if this kind of knowledge is useful to you. Because after this, you will look at a handful of gravel and read the metals inside it the way a seasoned prospector does. The first thing to know is that nearly all of these metals are heavy, so moving water gathers them in the same hidden traps, the dark streaks we call black sand. The first metal is the one everyone dreams of, the soft yellow gold that has driven people into rivers and mountains for thousands of years. Gold hides in two main homes, in veins of pale quartz up in the hills and in the loose gravel of creeks where erosion has carried it downhill. In a creek, gold rides low and gathers in the same quiet spots, such as the inside of a bend or the packed gravel resting down on the bedrock. Before you work any creek, make sure the ground is open to the public, since much of the best metal land is private or held under active mining claims. The pan itself is your simplest tool, cheap and portable, and with a little practice, it separates the heavy metals from ordinary sand in minutes. To work a pan, you keep it low in the water and swirl with a gentle, steady rhythm, coaxing the lightest sand up and over the front lip little by little. In the pan, gold gives itself away by pure weight, sinking hard and fast to the lowest point, while lighter sand and gravel wash away over the edge. Its color is a soft, buttery yellow that never changes, holding the same warm glow whether you turn it in bright sun or tip it into deep shade. That steady color is your first test, since fool's gold and shiny mica both flash and sparkle as you tilt them, then go dull when the angle shifts. Real gold is soft and bendable, so a grain pressed with a steel pin will dent and flatten like metal rather than shattering into brittle little bits. Gold never sticks to a magnet either, so any yellow grain that leaps toward one is some other iron-rich mineral wearing a convincing disguise. A magnet is worth carrying at all times, since sweeping it over your concentrate pulls out the worthless magnetic sand and leaves the good metals behind. Because gold resists tarnish completely, a nugget that sat in a creek for ages still shines like new, which is part of what makes it so prized. Most of what you find is fine flour gold, tiny flecks smaller than a grain of sand, since true nuggets stay rare and are worth celebrating when they appear. Sometimes gold shows up still locked in white quartz, glinting as bright specks and threads inside the pale rock, a thrilling sight worth breaking open. When gold carries a lot of natural silver, it looks paler, almost whitish yellow, a blend that is still valuable and simply tells you two metals are present. The second metal is silver, gold's quieter cousin, and it plays a clever trick that causes countless finders to throw it straight back on the ground. Fresh silver gleams a brilliant white, yet out in nature it almost never looks that way because it reacts with the air and darkens over time. What you actually find is a dull gray or nearly black metallic lump, so the very tarnish that hides it turns out to be the clearest clue to what it is. Native silver often grows in strange twisted shapes, in fine wires, branching sprays, and curled threads that look almost like frozen dark roots. The classic prize is wire silver, delicate curling threads of pure metal that twist out of the rock like silver hair, treasured by collectors worldwide. You will meet it most often inside veins alongside quartz and other ores, and in many districts, the same ground that carried gold carried silver too. Silver often gathers in the weathered upper part of a vein, the rusty stained cap where ores have broken down, so that reddish zone is worth a close look. Silver is heavy in the hand and very soft, so a knife blade will carve into it and it will dent under pressure rather than crack or crumble apart. Scrape away the dark skin on a hidden edge and a bright silvery metal shines through underneath, a quick check that separates it from plain dark rock. To tell tarnished silver from a dull piece of lead, remember that silver is harder to dent and shows a brighter white metal once you scrape it clean. Silver ignores a magnet completely, and it leaves a shiny silvery streak on rough tile rather than the rusty or greenish marks of common minerals. Silver also hides inside plain dark minerals, such as a sooty black silver ore that smears like soft pencil lead and rewards anyone who tests it carefully. In some rich veins, you may even spot deep red silver minerals, dark ruby-colored crystals that glow blood red when a strong light shines through them. It is fair to say native silver turns up less often than gold, and many pieces are small. Yet even modest bits still hold real and lasting value. A good silver specimen can be worth a solid sum, so a heavy blackened piece is always worth cleaning up and testing rather than leaving it behind. So when you spot a heavy blackened lump with a metallic feel, resist the urge to toss it and check for that bright metal hiding under the tarnish. The third metal is copper, and while purists call it a base metal, its natural form is a true native metal that collectors chase and pay well for. Native copper appears as reddish metallic blobs, twisted sheets, and branching masses, often tucked into cracks and cavities in dark volcanic rock. Its fresh color is a warm reddish orange, though exposed pieces soon dull to brown, and over long years they can grow a soft green or blue crust. The green mineral is malachite and often shows soft banded circles, while the blue one is azurite, and both are really just copper dressed in color. So when you see a rock streaked with vivid green or blue stains, treat it as a flag that copper and sometimes silver or gold may be resting nearby. Copper is heavy and wonderfully bendable, so a small piece will flatten and fold under a hammer or a firm press instead of snapping cleanly apart. On rough tile, it leaves a shiny reddish streak, and it stays completely deaf to a magnet, which helps rule out the iron-rich lookalikes. Copper conducts and behaves like the wire in your home, so a clean red metallic shine under the tarnish is a strong sign of the real native metal. A quick way to sort copper from fool's gold is color, since copper runs reddish and warm, while that brassy imposter stays a flat and pale yellow. Native copper can grow into branching tree-like shapes and even sharp crystals, forms so striking that the finest pieces sell as natural works of art. In the Great Lakes region of the North, old deposits produced masses of pure native copper so large that they had to be sawn apart before being moved. For a hobby hunter, the real prize is a solid chunk of red metal or a green-stained rock, both of which tell you copper has gathered in that spot. It may not carry the price of gold, yet a good native copper specimen is heavy, beautiful, and steadily valued by mineral collectors everywhere. The fourth metal is platinum, one of the rarest and most valuable of all, and it travels so quietly that most panners never realize they have it. Platinum shows up mainly as tiny steel-gray grains and rare small nuggets mixed into the heavy black sand that settles alongside gold in a creek. Its color is a dull silver gray that stays the same forever, since platinum does not tarnish, so it holds a steady metallic sheen down in the pan. Platinum is actually heavier than gold for its size, so in the pan it drives down even harder and hides in the deepest part of your heavy concentrate. That extreme density means it sinks to the very bottom and rides along with gold in the same low traps, crevices, and cracks in the bedrock. Against the warm yellow of gold, a platinum grain looks cold and gray, and once you train your eye, that color difference becomes surprisingly easy to catch. A useful quirk is that many natural platinum grains hold a little iron, so unlike the other precious metals, they can give a faint tug toward a magnet. That gentle magnetism can confuse a beginner, yet paired with the heavy weight and the gray color that never dulls, it becomes a helpful clue. Platinum is tough but still workable, though its tiny grain size means you rarely get the chance to test it by bending it the way you test gold. For a very long time, early gold miners tossed platinum aside as a nuisance, an annoying heavy metal they could not melt, never knowing its true worth. In the United States, it turns up with placer gold in a few western streams, and one belt in Montana is famous for platinum and its rare sister metals. Today, it is prized for industry and fine jewelry alike, which means those gray grains you once might have ignored can carry real and serious value. Because the grains are so small and easy to miss, careful work of your black sand concentrate is the only way most people ever recover any platinum. So never throw out your black sand until you have checked it grain by grain for those cold gray metallic flecks that simply refuse to tarnish. The fifth metal is palladium, the shyest member of this whole group, and finding it by eye alone is close to impossible even for seasoned hunters. Palladium belongs to the same family as platinum, and in nature, the two almost always turn up in the very same deposits and the very same creeks. It carries a pale silvery white color and resists tarnish well. Yet it is lighter than platinum and hides in amounts far too small to spot by sight. In practice, you do not find a lump of palladium at all. You recover platinum group grains and later learn that palladium is alloyed deep inside them. That is why the only honest way to confirm it is a proper lab assay, where trained testing reveals exactly which metals your recovered grains contain. Beyond its rarity in the ground, palladium is hugely valued in modern industry, especially in the parts that clean the exhaust of everyday cars. That heavy demand keeps its price high, so even a trace hidden inside your platinum grains can add real weight to what a recovered concentrate is worth. The good news is that the hunt is identical to the hunt for platinum, so the same patient work on black sand puts palladium within your reach as well. Any western creek that yields platinum grains has a genuine chance of carrying a whisper of palladium in the mix, waiting for the assay to confirm it. There is one more kind of treasure that hides in the very same black sand where all of these metals gather, and it is not a metal at all. Scattered among those heavy grains, you can find real gemstones, since the same current that traps dense metal also traps hard and heavy crystals. In parts of the West, panners pulling gold from a creek have also lifted out real sapphires, rugged little stones that survived the long trip downstream. So the dark concentrate at the bottom of your pan may hold gold, silver, and platinum, and a bright gem quietly waiting among them as well. That is why the humble black sand you might rinse away without a thought is really the richest single handful in the whole creek. If you want to go deeper into reading these metals and the ground that hides them, the best next step is joining the members area of this channel. Inside the members area, you get closer guidance, extra breakdowns, and hands-on help that sharpen your eye for exactly this kind of patient hunting. It is a simple way to support the work here, while gaining real tools that turn a casual walk along a creek into a focused and rewarding search. And if joining is not right for you today, there is no problem at all, since you can keep learning here with everything shared on this channel for free. Just subscribe and watch the next video already waiting on your screen, where we uncover even more of what the ground beneath your feet is hiding. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Good luck, Gold Hunter!